delve into blockchain technologies. This practical webinar will introduce blockchain technologies for with a focus on tourism enterprises, and you will learn to understand the blockchain basics, what it is, the common myths, and its value for small businesses. You will learn key components such as blocks, hashes, keys, signatures, wallets, addresses, transactions, and smart contracts. You will learn to know and differentiate between different blockchain types, such as public, private, permissioned, and networks and blocks. You will follow blockchain transactions step by step. You will see some practical tourism use cases. You will understand the risks and safe practices and learn the cost, the speed, and the sustainability fundamentals of working with blockchain, and also get a beginner's checklist. So let's go, and I will introduce you our experts for today. I will start with Mr. Dr. Dimitrios Cholis. He is the head of the IT unit at Erasmus Brands. He's holding a bachelor's, master's, and PhD in electrical engineering and computer technology. He manages projects related to computer networks, modern web technologies, advanced information systems, and the legal aspects of AI. His research specializes in applying technology to agriculture, focusing on data management and innovative tools to improve farming. He has participated in over 30 European and national projects and has authored more than 90 papers in scientific journals and conferences. With us, we also have Ilias Monastriotis. He is a computer engineer in the IT department at Erasmus Brands. He specializes in web technologies and development and focusing on advanced digital solutions that meet current demands. His work involves designing innovative web platforms and reliable systems that improve the efficiency and enhance user experience.
This webinar for. So our goal is to teach everyone the basics for the blockchain and make you familiar with this technology. So there are many categories that they can watch this webinar and benefit from it. So if you are unemployed exploring tourism opportunities, this webinar suits you. If you are a professional or a student or an SME owner, also this webinar is good for you. So before starting with the blockchain basics, let me comment something here. Blockchain is not only about a complex technology, but it's more about a way of structuring things and sealing proof. So let's move to what actually blockchain is. First of all, a blockchain is, as the word says, it consists of blocks. They are shared across many computers and they are accessible by everyone. They are also cryptographically linked, so we can prevent fraud, and they are designed to reduce reliance on a single intermediary. So what's also connected to blockchain is the decentralization, which is a very interesting topic if you are about to study more about blockchain. And also when we have multiple parties and we need some verifiable records, blockchain is really useful for us. Next, what actually blockchain is not. There is a common myth that connects blockchain tightly with crypto, which is not true at all. crypto is one use of the blockchain, maybe the most common and what made the blockchain famous. But we can see that there are many non-crypto uses for the blockchain, and we can benefit from this technology in many other sections of our everyday life and our job. So, something else that is not true about the blockchain is that it is fully anonymous. The blockchains are actually traceable, and all information about them are public, or some are not. Maybe it's all about the type of the network. We'll talk about the networks later. So there is also very common to hear that the blockchain is slow or expensive, or that it needs a lot of energy to run, and that leads to high cost. This is also not true for every aspect of the blockchain and every approach. So the performance and the fees also vary by network and the setup. Next, we will try to map the blockchain, so you can also have a clear image in your head how blockchain actually can be described, and how we can translate it in many other sections. So the basic building blocks of the blockchain are the blocks and the hashes. These are actually the digital fingerprints. Next, we have the keys and the signatures. These are here to prove the authorship. And next, we have the wallets and the addresses. This is actually what how the users are connected to this technology. We have the transactions and the smart contracts. Now I will give the floor to Mr. Tsolis, and he will tell you more about these things for the blockchain, about the basic building blocks.
Yes, thank you very much. I hope that you can hear me. Okay. As Elias said, blockchains are not a complicated technology. When you look it in depth, it's something that has been supported by the scientific area of cryptography, digital cryptography, which was well established and famous for 30 years. So they used the notion of cryptography and encryption and decryption, but they have translated it to the modern digital networks. So it's like you are using the process of encrypting and decrypting content, but in a decentralized way, so as to maximize the integrity of the data. This is the original notion on which blockchains are based. In the cryptography scientific area, the key for the encryption of data was the hashes. This is the same in blockchains too. So the hash is a mathematical algorithm, is a mathematical equation, a bit complicated, but a mathematical equation which the computer can run so as to encrypt data. What this means? This means that it uses the data so as to produce with the hash algorithm a key, which key is a digital fingerprint of this data. So you take, for example, 1 megabyte of data, and you, with the hash algorithm, the hashing algorithm, you produce a digital fingerprint which is 10 times smaller than the data. But this hash, this key, this digital fingerprint is strongly associated to the original data. So if you do one tiny change to the data or to the digital fingerprint, then the result is completely different. So for the same data, you produce the same digital fingerprint. One tiny change to the data, this produces another fingerprint. Okay, this is the first notion. The second notion, which is very basic for blockchains, are the blocks. Blocks group records all together, many fingerprints of data in a way, where each block points to a previous block hash. So, for example, let's take a tourism example. You are in a mobile application for tourists, and you, for example, you are inserting your name, your profile, etc., the dates and the destination for your travel, and then you reserve a ticket. With this procedure, you can produce with the hashing algorithm several blocks which represent this process. When you confirm the payment, for example, for your stay, you confirm your stay with a Visa card, for example, with the hashing algorithm, another fingerprint is being produced, but this fingerprint internally is associated with the previous fingerprint. So these blocks are associated with one with each other, okay, together. So in this way, you produce a chain. That's why we say that this is a chain of blocks, a blockchain. This chain is unbreakable. Or let's say it in another way, if something will change in any block of the blockchain, then the chain breaks. So you know that the data integrity is not evident, it's no longer there. So if you have the blockchain and you verify that this chain is complete and functioning, then you know that the data that are within this blockchain are fully secure, with data integrity, and the association between them is evident and powerful. So in certain cases, you can trace back the procedure. So if you have, for example, your voucher, the voucher of your stay for your travel, you can trace back the whole process and go back to the initial stage of the initial reservation, let's say, like this. So you can have this historical chain and trace back all these processes. So this is the key for the security. Now, this encrypted data, in a way, are also stored in a decentralized way. So there is not a central cloud infrastructure where all these digital fingerprints are being stored. There are many cloud infrastructures, and each block of the chain may be preserved and stored to different storage areas. This enhances the security even more. Okay, now, if you want to produce a blockchain from the encryption methodology and from the cryptography research area, you will need a key, your private key. Let's say that I have a very personal number with which the hashing algorithm will produce the encrypted and the digital data, the fingerprint. So this fingerprint is very strongly associated to my personal number, this private key. So every data that my application is producing is very highly associated to this private key, and it refers to me and only to me. The other systems, if they want to see and trace back the root of my data, they have to decrypt. So they use a public key, which is the checker that the other applications use to verify my signature. So my digital signature is the proof that shows that is me that the data have been resourced. Okay, you can't undo this authorship in this encryption-decryption scheme. It's very hard to claim that this wasn't me, because the data integrity is so strong and so highly associated to the whole chain that it traces back to you. if the chain is not broken. Okay. So if the chain is okay, then everything leads to original owner of the data. This feature of the blockchain is being used in several applications, not only tourism, of course in economics, which is where blockchains have been an important supporter of the crypto economics, but also in other sectors like culture, health, like tourism. Now, how we produce a blockchain? For example, there are public networks in which everybody and anyone can produce blockchains and can participate. So everyone and anyone can verify the transparency and the interoperability is there for everyone. There's also private and permissioned networks. So we have only approved members, a restricted network in which the blockchain is functioning only for these members. And of course, there are some hybrid solutions which keep sensitive data off chain and other data, and the personal data in the public is protected, but for permission ledgers, private data and personal data might be inside the chain. So if we have to summarize this a bit, we can say that in the public network, anyone can join and to use this transparent infrastructure so as to produce solutions. There is an ecosystem of tools which produce interoperability between applications, and these are supporting open markets like tourism, for example, and like agriculture or food producers, etc. And consider an off-chain data part for the personal data. All this public network uses hashes. Okay. Sorry. I don't know, Elias, do you want to continue?
Yes, of course. Thank you very much, Mr. Tsolis. It was very nice to hear you and tell us all these interesting things about blockchain and the way you make it sound so simple. So let's move on. One of the most important things of today's agenda is to leave this webinar knowing exactly how you can use blockchain and benefit from this technology. So if you want to start the pilot testing, I have to mention some things to help you choose the network that will help you the most and they give you the best results. So before starting this procedure, you have to consider some basic things. First of all, you start with your data. You have to check if you want to use your personal or some confidential data. If so, you have to use the permissioned blockchain network or maybe a hybrid model that for sure keeps your personal information off the chain. Next, you have to consider who needs to see this information. If you have a few partners, you will go with the permissioned network because you will be able to choose who will have access to your shared data. If you want to have a network that anyone will join, as we told before, as Mr. Tsolis mentioned, you will use a public network or a hybrid model that actually have these features of the public networks. Next, you have to consider what do you need the most. If you want to have a predictable cost or speed, you have to use the permission blockchain, so you can actually set some limits to your hardware and the consumption you will have. If you don't have these restrictions, which are the most common problems and obstacles that large-scale companies or operations using blockchain have to overcome, then you can use a public blockchain that will give you an open network with unlimited resources or really high limits in these resources. You also have to write your rules. This is the governance, who you can add, who you can approve, or who can also do these actions if it's not only you. And if you are a beginner or if you are not familiar with these procedures, you will have to choose a safe, or it is good for you to choose a safe option, which is to start with a permissioned network, which gives you some limitations, and it's easier to handle everything until you get familiar. Something else that we have to talk about is a transaction. So we actually want to see briefly a transaction from one end to another, and the basic steps. It's first of all to create a wallet. A wallet is your key manager. There are sometimes the custodial or the non-custodial, which some are easier and you can hold more keys. So it depends on the level or how familiar you are with the concept. Next, we have to send a tiny test transaction. To do this, we usually have, for each transaction, we have a seed phrase, that's how we call it. And sometimes we also, this is actually a password. This password gives you all the permissions that you have on your blockchain network. If you lose this password, you no more have access to your network. And if someone managed to steal this password or this seed phrase from you, your data is vulnerable and can easily be stolen. So you have to be really careful with this address. And next you can start with a really small amount and notice the movement. The last step is to read it on an Explorer. When you copy the transaction hash, where you see the TX in our presentation stands for the transaction, you can paste this hash and see the status and the basic information of your transaction. This actually has more to do with the front end, as we said, the computer science section. So that's all for the transactions. We don't want to deep dive into this because we need to have to know the basics first, and our goal is to understand basic things and be familiar with this rather than search advanced solutions or applications. Next, and this is the most important part of our presentation, because it's all about this project implements. It's how we can use blockchain technology and its benefits in the tourism section. So there are many practical use cases that we are actually stepping into in our everyday lives and maybe not even noticing yet. And for me, the most common thing that we actually have seen it's really popular lately is the verifiable tickets and passes, something that Mr. Cholis already talked about. This is the most common application of the blockchain technology in the tourism section. Wherever you want to go, maybe you need the tickets. Your tickets actually are your evidence that you have paid and that you have booked your seats or your reservations. And this is, if you think about it, what the blockchain does. It uses this information and seals this information so it cannot be altered. So let's talk about some more practical use cases. The e-vouchers that are becoming really popular in some apps, or if you want to have some government papers, you can see these vouchers are actually some kind of smart contract that it has it is accessible by multiple partners, and it's really hard to be stolen or maybe lose your important information. Next, we have a very common problem for many SMEs or tourism SMEs, for example, that we are now talking about. It's the reviews and the ratings. Tourism is pretty much based in how you promote your store or your restaurant or your hotel or your business in general, and the ratings and the reviews from the users is something really important. And we have seen through the years that there are many false or fake reviews trying to maybe hurt one business. This is most of the times result of the maybe two different owners participating in the same area and trying to one to overcome the other. So blockchain can really put some limits in this by sealing the reviews and the ratings and making them giving a proof whether they are fake or they are actually some bad or good reviews. Another really interesting use case is local product provenance. Blockchain is used actually in a very interesting way in the whole agri-food chain. This means that you can actually have multiple stages of one product before reaching the customer in its final destination or place or market. You can actually have a blockchain which is some blocks, and each one has the information of the how this product was made and where it was actually made and what techniques were used, and this is some sealed information that cannot also be changed, and the customer can have some trustworthy information about its product. There is also the B2B workflows. These actually have to do with how some businesses can handle their internal procedures. We will not talk more about this, and let's now talk about the risks and the good practices when it comes to the blockchain technology. So, if you remember, we have the seed phrase that it's really important, and it has all it's your access and your only access. If you lose it, you cannot find another way to access your information. So, what's the easiest way to be ready for a situation like this is to store it offline, store it in hardware, or even write it down on a paper. It's also something that it cannot be easily leaked because it's a phrase consisted of about 12 to 24 words, and it recreates your wallet. Next, we have the phishing and the fake apps that it's really common not only in the blockchain technology, but it is also a risk here as long as we are in this computer science section. So the easiest way to prevent this from happening is to enable the two-factor authentication. For those who don't know, two-factor authentication is where you are actually using a second password or a second key, or maybe a message in your phone to actually get a second password and gain access to your data. So another risk is the personal information. This is what PII stands for. It's actually your personal information that they are, when they are on the chain, they are undeletable. This is what you also have to consider, as we told before, when you are choosing the network, that the blockchain network that you will work on. What you can do here is to keep your personal data as much as possible off the chain. When you do so, try to minimize the data that you are using, and try to use only private networks. Next, we have the high energy consumption issue. As we told, there are many approaches that can limit this consumption and not be a problem anymore. It also has to do with the scale of your work and the application. And here we have the POS or the POS. It's the proof of stake networks. Proof of stake is a way of managing space, data, and everything. We don't have to dive in this now. you can have it in your mind to use the proof of stake networks, and it's more energy efficient. It also comes with some downsides, but as for the energy, it's the best option. And the next and the last risk that I want to mention is something that always exists. It's the user mistakes. Okay, this is something that you can find everywhere, but you have to be sure about your every move you will make, so you can make more tests and some training and use some limits on the transactions, so you can avoid a mistake that can cost you all in your business. So, about the cost, the speed, and the sustainability, that the three basic things that we have to talk about when it comes to the blockchain technology. I will say a few words here. Well, the cost has to do with the network fees. We have to be really careful. We have to use alerts or some limits when you are using the blockchain applications, maybe in crypto or even in your business. You can see that there are some automatic limits that your transaction stops when it reaches these limits. So you can have this is the risk management. Next, about the speed. It has to do with the network that we choose, and it has to do with the energy consumption and what kind of hardware we have to use. I have to mention that blockchain demands most of the times, for large-scale applications, expensive hardware, but for your setups and for a small business setup, you can use these permission setups for a predictable performance. Next, for sustainability, we have the proof of stake that we mentioned before, and this actually reduces the energy use. So, okay, we said a lot in the theory. Let's now see some case studies in the real life and how this is actually implemented, because all this time we're talking about how we can implement these applications and the opportunity that blockchain gives us. I found a very interesting example here that I'm sure you will all know when you will hear it. We will talk about the UEFA Euro 2020. This is the European Football Championship, something millions of people attending, and even more watched it from their houses. So, actually, UEFA is a really large organization that wanted to use a blockchain solution in the mobile ticketing app to distribute the tickets. We are talking about more than 1 million tickets for all the matches that were actually played, and the reason this happened was to reduce the duplication, to enable the secure transfer and the safer entry, and to make the whole procedures run smoothly. So the fans got some QR codes in their phones that they activated when they were near the stadium, and they could use them to get in there. So how this now actually implements the blockchain. These QR codes contain all the information found in the blockchain that they cannot be it cannot be changed. So if you have this QR code, you have a piece of information that you know it is not fake and it is not changed. So it reduced the reselling of the tickets, the illegal resale of the tickets, and made the whole situation smoother. So this is a case study in real life, but this actually shows us how we can use this technology and in many more sections of our lives. These were some event tickets for football and big organization, but actually we have this kind of tickets everywhere. We have it in festivals, we have it in museums, we even have this we can even use them in hotels, airplane tickets, and all the other aspects of our traveling and tour section in general. As I mentioned in the beginning of this meeting, I will give you an implementation guide for your first pilot testing, so to become familiar with this technology. And here you can see the word pilot forming, and each letter stands for one point of the actual pilot testing. This is a way you can visualize it and remember it more easily. So let's get into the implementation path. P stands for problem first. You have to be sure about your problem and structure it and make the least possible changes after getting to this problem final structure. Next, you have the infrastructure fit. It's all about choosing your network, whether you want public permission or a hybrid model. You have to do your first experiments by a transaction, which is the main steps were the wallet, the transaction, and the explorer to see the results. Next, you have to consider keeping your personal information off your chain. PII stands for personally identifiable information. And this has to do with hashing and pointers that Dr. Cholis talked about before. Next, you have to track your KPIs. This is for monitoring your progress, to see the time, the cost, and this way you can have better results and reduce the errors. Before closing this webinar, we have to talk about the key takeaways. So, let's get back to the basics and try to keep the most of it. What is actually blockchain? Blockchain is a shared record that everyone can see and trust. It needs clear rules and it's not a magic fix. You can see that in our pilot, every letter of our pilot was actually a section in the presentation that you will have this presentation, you will be able to access it, I think, and see every section separately again and again. So, you also have to know how to start. You have to begin with one real problem and choose the partners. By choosing the partners, you will be able to pick the type of the network to match your needs. Next, you have to get into the practical meaning, which is doing the first transaction. And we also talked about here the how you will find these use cases in tourism. We talked about the loyalty and the vouchers, the verifiable tickets, the trusted reviews, the product provenance, and the B2B settlement. Never forget to stay safe and protect your personal data. So, this is actually the recap. I don't have to say it again and make it tiring for you. This is all for me. I want to thank you all for your attention.